this event to you from CCS. So I'm Carla Gonzalez. I'm Director of Undergrad Admissions at the college. And I have with me this evening, Kim Hardy, our Chair of Craft and Material Studies Program. And we're really excited to have Kim talk with you today about her program, about all of the amazing things that happen in the program, and to give you some insights into the major.
Hi, thank you, Carla. I'm Kim Hardy. I'm the Chair of Craft Material Studies. I'm also the head of the glass section. So I just wanted to welcome you guys to this presentation. We have a really small group, so I just want to encourage you to ask questions at any time. You can vocalize your questions. You can also just drop them in the chat box. I'll be aware that they're there. So I'm going to take you through a short presentation, maybe about 10 minutes, to really take you through our curriculum, different careers you can have after studying craft and material studies, our facilities, and really try to help you get to know the program and what's possible in our program. So I'm going to go ahead and start that off. I'm going to share my screen here. All right, here we go. Okay, so craft and material studies. What is it? We recently changed our name from crafts to craft and material studies because we wanted to signal that our department's, sorry, I'm just changing where my window is. Because our department is, is a really foundational department for the school. CCS was actually founded as the Detroit Society of Arts and Crafts in 1906 before it transitioned to a degree granting institution. So our roots at the school run really deep. Not only are we dedicated to traditional craft and traditional craft mediums, but we also take an expanded approach to how different materials perform and function. So not only are we looking at traditional traditional histories of glass, ceramic, fiber and textiles, jewelry and metalsmithing, and furniture, but we're also looking at experimental and cross-disciplinary processes, digital fabrication, different industrial applications of materials, and thinking about how material and making fits in with contemporary art. Students that are in our program really develop very disciplined making practices. That's one of the things that we feel is at the core of our program, is a focus on materials and a focus on a disciplined making practice. But that practice may touch on sculpture, might touch on functional objects, design, and decorative arts. So what I mentioned before is that we felt that adding the term material studies to the department's name signals a research agenda that just goes beyond traditional media tools and techniques and points to a more contemporary and innovative approach to hands-on making. And I would say that's the other thing that really distinguishes our department, is the core of what we do is all about hands-on making. Yes, we have visualization classes. Yes, we have digital technology classes and professional practice classes. But the core of what you're learning and the design methodology you're learning is really based in a hands-on approach to materials. So I kind of wanted to do my presentation in reverse, where I talk about kind of careers and futures for the department first, and then I backtrack about how our curriculum and facilities and faculty are going to prepare you for those careers. So I'm going to careers right off the bat. There's a really wide variety of careers that an education in craft and material studies prepares you for. Of course, everybody has the potential to go on as an independent artist and designer. Some people do that as their full-time practice, ultimately. Some people do that as a portion of their work. But everyone in the program walks away with a strong body of work and a strong studio practice to rely on. Another major theme of our grads is many go on to be entrepreneurs. This is just a short list of many of the very successful entrepreneurs that have come out of our program. And the images that I want to highlight on the right for you on the top is an image from Parts and Labor's portfolio. I would encourage you to look at their website. It's amazing. And that was founded by Jeremy Levitt, who graduated from the furniture department, and they now do restaurant, hospitality, design, and fabrication, a lot of custom works, really, really beautiful. Samantha Bankel-Sheffman, she's the founder and director of Playground Detroit. It's a really important gallery in Detroit right now and has really innovative programming. So she actually studied jewelry and metalsmithing and has been able to use the knowledge that she gained there to open a gallery. And you can read a couple other founders and owners from this list, among many others. Another really prominent career path is working in nonprofit institutions or in education. So a nonprofit institution is something like a museum, something like a public access studio. And we've had some really successful grads and alumni who are now working in really high level and director positions at nonprofits or in educational institutions like in higher ed. So Heather McAlee is the executive director of the Pittsburgh Glass Center. Josh Wojcik heads up the Crafts and Trades program at the Henry Ford Museum. Brett Swenson is the glass programs manager at the Flint Institute of Art. And then one of our grads, Andrea Olenciak, just got a job as the Design and Innovation Hub ecosystem manager at this Design and Innovation Hub. It's like a $45 million project at Kent State University. It's a really exciting position, and she's going to be running part of that space. So we're really excited for her. And another place that a lot of our students go is industry. We have students, or I guess alumni, that are materials designers at Nike, material designers at General Motors, clay modelers at GM, among many other things. And so I highlighted some student work on the right because the connection that I want to make is a lot of our student work is really expressive. It's really innovative. It's really pushing the boundaries of what you can do with materials. But that is the way that we are cultivating students' skills and students' critical thinking skills and fabrication skills to prepare them for a job in industry. So Jenna Van Fleeteren on the top, she was not making shoes when she was in school. She was making these really amazing accordion garments. She was fabricating them. They were like expanding and contracting, going all different directions. And that portfolio is what allowed her to get a job in industry. And on the bottom, Haley Callahan, she's amazing. She's made all of these kind of modular pieces. She did a really intense study with crystalline glazes and developing her own crystalline glazes in ceramic, a lot of vessel work, a lot of mold work, a lot of installation work. She also took a couple clay modeling classes. Now she's a clay modeler at GM. So she had that job coming right out of school. You know, it was like February before COVID hit. She knew she was going right into industry right after school. So the connection that I kind of want to make for you here is that when you see student work, you're going to see these really expressive, sometimes really decorative objects. And those are really beautiful objects. And sometimes you do go ahead and sell those objects, or that becomes your practice. But those objects also kind of signify an embodied knowledge of what you can do with materials. And that type of portfolio can make you really competitive for jobs in industry. And in fact, Maggie Echo, who's here, she's a craft grad, and she's works for GM in their design and outreach. And she reached out to us saying, we want to do projects with CCS beyond the transportation department. We want to engage with craft and material studies students because those are skills that we're interested in as well. So the connection to industry is really strong in our department. We also have many students that are going to top tier grad schools and getting full scholarships to do it, and we're super proud of them. So, you know, just a couple people that are out there recently, going to Tyler School of Art, Cranbrook Institute of Art, the University of Madison, Wisconsin, and Wayne State, just to name a few. So we're really proud that we have students that are going into those top tier grad programs. So the next thing I want to talk about to you, something that we're trying to prioritize and really grow, is partnerships. So we have these really amazing facilities, really amazing student body, faculty with all of these skills, and we want to see how these kind of skills, tools, and materials can partner with other organizations, artists, institutions, and see how we can innovate new solutions to problems. So one partnership that we're developing is a partnership with Mend on the Move, which is a company, it's a nonprofit that creates jewelry out of recycled car parts. And the proceeds from that jewelry, and the women who make that jewelry are survivors of domestic violence, and the proceeds from that jewelry go to help fund them and their organization. So we've been working with them with our metal snipping and jewelry department. We had someone do a funded internship with them, and next year that we're going to do a full-on design project with them. So that's been really exciting. We had a Guild and Grace sponsored project in the fiber and textiles area. So Guild and Grace makes a removable vinyl wallpaper. And so they collaborated with our fibers area. Jeremy, our fibers faculty, is really strong in print and pattern design. It's part of his background. Things like color and trim, things like wallpaper, things like print and pattern for any application is really in his wheelhouse. So they had this amazing class where they designed all this vinyl wallpaper. They had feedback from the partners in industry. And then actually the partners in industry selected a handful of designs that they are now selling through their company that the students had designed. And we also put the wallpaper up and the elevators, and it was really, really beautiful. It was a really successful project. And I think really fun for the students to, again, see how this craft and material studies education then can translate, how being creative and innovative with color and materials, being experimental, really translates to this other kind of more applied industry sphere. Recently, well, I guess this is a couple years back, not so recently, we did a Shinola sponsored project. This was with product design and metal smithing and jewelry. And so the watches that you see on the left were actually fabricated by our students, including the leather watch band. So again, you know, Shinola is actually housed in the Taubman Center, which is one of the main studio buildings at CCS. And so this was a really exciting collaboration. And really, I think you can see just really impressive results of how students were able to work together, craft and material studies and product design, and develop these really kind of beautiful objects. We also did a collaboration with Moss Architects and John Hogan's Designs in glass. It's a little hard to see here, but basically the glass students, along with John Hogan, cast, I want to say like 500 glass blocks that were then stacked up into a 12-foot tower that was shown, and they were interlocking blocks that was shown at the Chicago Architecture Biennial in 2017. And it was a really incredible project, a really incredible object in this amazing showcase of glass, which as materials people were always really excited about. So that was a great opportunity, and also a paid opportunity for students in this case. So those are a couple of our partnerships. And then I think that's something we're continuing to work on and cultivate more. We also have a couple special programs, I guess I would call them, in our area that that can enhance your degree in your chosen emphases or major area of emphasis. So one of those programs is our digital fabrication minor. So when you come to the craft and material studies department, you'll choose an area of emphasis. It could be glass, ceramics, fiber and textile, jewelry and metal smithing, or furniture. But you can also minor in digital fabrication. We know that using digital tools is really, really important for a craft practice, because it's not that you're fabricating everything digitally, but you might be fabricating a mold, a graphite mold that you can cast, you know, 1,000 pieces of glass in. You might be using the ceramic 3D printer to create a vessel form that you can repeat and replicate. You might be using the laser cutter to cut fabric. So there's all these different ways that digital fabrication really plays into a hands-on education. And we wanted to make that a focus of our program. And also our digital fabrication facilities are something that we've been developing in each one of our 5 areas. So the digital fabrication minor consists of 5 courses, and 2 of those courses are already required crafts courses. So to complete this minor in our program, you only have to complete 3 additional courses in the 4 years you're here. And so to speak a little bit about that, you would be taking digital design and modeling, which is really about sketching, ideating. You know, this is actually a a sketch right here, a rhino model of a piece, and coming up with ideas quickly and kind of iterating ideas in a digital space. Intro to digital fabrication is about taking those ideas, modeling them, rendering them in photorealistic form. So, you know, if you're creating a chair and you render it out, it actually looks like a chair, even though you've never made it. And then actually outputting some of those models to different types of digital fabrication tools like the laser cutter, the 3D printer, the CNC machine. The next course in the sequence is CAD for 3D printing, and it's really about honing in on your computer-aided design skills and being able to create objects that have tolerances that can interlock with one another, that can be added on to a pre-existing object, and really dialing in a very specific skill set for output on 3D printer, which can be translated to basically any other tool. Could be translated to a CNC machine, could be translated to a laser cutter, translates all around. After that, we have an open elective that you can choose from a kind of rotating roster of digital fabrication electives, and then an advanced projects class where you really take all the knowledge that you've gained along with all the knowledge you've gained in your chosen discipline and kind of combine it into a self-directed project. Another really great option in our program is getting a clay modeling certificate. So I mentioned Haley Callahan earlier. She had a really robust ceramic practice. She's an incredible artist. She also chose to take these 2 required courses in clay modeling. And again, clay modeling is a really viable career path. Big car companies still are modeling all their cars in clay. And so particularly for people interested in ceramics, I think this is a great path to industry, and something that's really unique and particular to CCS as a path you can take. And then another course that we're piloting this year is the Craft Business Incubator course. So this is something that we're starting this year and we're going to continue to grow, but this is a course where you will actually be starting your own business in the class. That is the outcome in the class. We have all these amazing students, facilities, all these resources. We want to give students the structure and the advice and the mentorship to be able to put all their knowledge and skills and resources together and incubate a business so that when they leave, they already have their business ready to go. They understand how to have cash flow, how to market themselves, how to distribute their work to brick and mortar places, e-commerce. And we really want students to be able to take the skills that they've learned and monetize them when they leave school. And that's something that we're focusing on in this course. So that's something we're excited about. So kind of working my way backwards from the careers to the really specialized partnerships and programs. Now we're kind of getting to the bones of things, the faculty and the curriculum. You know, our faculty, I have to say, it's my own department, but they're amazing. I mean, they're second to none in each of their fields. We have 4 full-time faculty members and we have a section head of each program. We have a really diverse faculty. That's something that we really value. People of color, LGBTQ people, women, old people, young people. And so there's a real diversity of perspectives on the faculty. And I think each faculty member in their field has a really specific skill set and is really, really respected and active in their studio practice in addition to being educators. We also have a really robust adjunct faculty. And so those are all people as well that are going to be influencing you and informing you in your given area, and teaching a variety of studio courses and electives. So if you get a chance, you know, I'd really encourage you to like Google everyone, check out their website and check out the next, you know, what they're up to and what their work's all about. As far as our curriculum is concerned, so when you choose your area of emphasis, you will have a discipline-specific curriculum. So you'll be, again, either choosing glass, ceramic, fiber and textiles, jewelry and metalsmithing, or furniture. And within that track, you'll have a bunch of elective courses that you're taking from your freshman to your senior year that are teaching you skills. They might be topical classes. They might be cross-disciplinary classes. They might be, if you're in fiber, you might be taking a course in fashion accessories design. If you're in furniture, you might be taking a course in product design. We have a really wide roster of electives that are there to help build your skill set and form your understanding of how to make. You will also have in your junior and senior year a major studio course, and that course is really about developing your specific body of work, self-directed research agenda. It's about critique, it's about mentorship, it's about studio visits, and it's really about finding your own voice in the material and developing a professional practice around that. So those are all things that will be very specific to your discipline. We also have a shared crafts curriculum, and these are courses that everybody in the craft department or the craft material studies department takes. So these are courses that are related to research, design, and professional practice. So two of the courses I mentioned before, digital design and modeling and intro to digital fabrication, are the two required courses that are really focused on digital design and fabrication. History of crafts is an excellent course. It counts as an art history credit, and it's really, really popular to kind of help you understand the context and the history of what we do. Material research methods is all about developing a research practice with materials. So that's a course. It's not about final product. It's all about how do you play with materials? How do you innovate? How do you develop experimental practices and learn about materials through making? And then we have portfolio and web development, which is all about just straight up making your portfolio. So when you leave here, you have an amazing website, you have a pristine resume, you have a beautiful business card, you know how to write a cover letter, you have all the things you need to be successful going out into the world. And then we have a senior seminar course, which is all about developing your thesis body of work and really honing in on that final body of work for your senior show. So these are courses that everybody in the department takes together. And it's also great to have that cross-disciplinary conversation where everybody's interacting and kind of learning about each other's practice in these courses. And now we're going to show you all the very sexy shots of our facilities. We have amazing facilities. It's a really idyllic place to work. The way the school is set up, it has a very small footprint, so everything's very close. You can run from glass to ceramics to the wood shop to the metal shop all in about 5 minutes. But the facilities are also very extensive. Each area is really outfitted with kind of state-of-the-art equipment to do a whole variety of different techniques and processes. So this is the ceramics studio. I won't get into all the nitty gritty of everything, certainly we can send you a list, but, in addition to like wheel throwing, glazes, kilns, all of that, we have a kiln shed with big brick kilns for atmospheric firings, ceramics 3D printer, it's a really cool resource, a decal printer, mold room, slip casting room, so a really great facility in ceramics. Foundry is a shared studio with the entire school, but again, the ability to pour bronze, we have iron pours periodically is a very cool resource, and definitely something we encourage students to take advantage of. The wood shop, so you can see actually on the right, this was a project, a digital fabrication project. Somebody had probably laser cut all of this wood and now is about to assemble it. But the wood shop is it's a really beautiful space. It's a really extensive space where students, particularly furniture students, are sort of able to set up shop and really work on their projects there. The glass studio, again, is state of the art. We have 4 working stations, 3 enormous furnaces, a ton of kilns in addition to cold working equipment. And I should also note that all craft students in Major Studio get an individualized studio space, which is a really cool resource from the school. Fiber and Textile has beautiful, oops, let me see if I can get to the, this isn't the most beautiful shot, but Fiber and Textile has beautiful studios. It's on the 3rd floor. There's tons of natural light. They have a loom room, a screen printing room, a dye room, a digital surfacing room, a sewing room. So they have a bunch of resources where you can do a whole variety of processes and also mix and match those processes. So I love it when I see fiber students who print something digitally on fabric and then they dye it and then they embroider on it and then they make it into a quilt and then they make that and hang it in an installation. There's some really amazing work going on there. The furniture studio. So again, this is kind of an example of what your individual studio space would look like. In furniture, there are desk setup, shelving, you can have a little bit of storage there. And this is just kind of the workroom where people are working on different projects. So you can see a lot of these like material experiments over here on Monique's desk she's working on. The metalsmithing and jewelry studio, again, there's just a ton of resources there. There's not my area of expertise, but there's like, you can pickle things, you can electroform things. There's a machine shop, there's powder coating, there's hollowware. There's just a whole variety of fabrication techniques that are taught in that space. And Tom Madden, who's our faculty, he's an incredible wealth of knowledge. Back here, there's a little digital laser welder. It's really amazing what they can do in that space. And one thing that's really unique that we have as well is a blacksmithing studio. So this is in a separate space. We offer a blacksmithing course almost every semester. It's really popular. And so people that are in jewelry and metal smithing, sometimes they're working on teeny jewelry scale. Sometimes they're working on this enormous blacksmithing scale, or they're welding things, or they're making large scale sculptures. So there's a real variety of things that go on in that program. Here's another, this is a nice picture of the fiber and textiles screen printing area. Okay, and so now I just have kind of a long list of artwork, student work that I'll kind of page through, but I was wondering in the meantime if anyone has any questions or anything's come up in the chat that I didn't notice. I guess I can't see the chat when I'm sharing my screen. Nothing? Okay. Well, I'll just take you through a couple images here of some different work that's been going on. So it's noted the artist and the program at the bottom. And I really love these images. I think that they're really beautiful, and they're a really beautiful representation of some of the objects that are made in our program. And I also feel like they don't tell the full story of what we do. There's so much material experimentation, you know, fabrication, problem solving, critiquing, photography, so many different things that go into making a piece like this. It's a really beautiful object, but it's also this kind of repository of all this knowledge about tools and materials, dexterity of making with your hands, to get to this point of making these objects. So some wearables. This is a great piece. This is a great combination. You can see the students using digital fabrication to kind of make the skeleton